Hello and welcome to I Could Murder a Podcast, Series 14, Episode 1. We are back. We are back with a brand new series. Been a long time coming. So thank you for waiting. Thank you for sticking around, but we are back and some big announcements have happened. But he's still here. He's the Bassy to my Shirley. He's the straight to my curly. It's Ben Carter.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can't get rid of me, mate. In fact, you're going to be seeing and hearing a lot more of me. Please don't get sick of me. But someone I am excited to be around. Producer Dan. How are we, sir?
Very good. It's good to see your faces again. It's been months since I've seen your faces like this. Yeah, very good to be back. This is a big commitment, would you say? I'm feeling very excited to be always on, forever, every week.
Yes, so if anyone doesn't know what Dan's talking about, and you'd missed our little teaser video, we are officially going to be always on. No more. This Series 14 will be...
The Forever Series.
The Forever Series, yeah.
Well, it sounds quite daunting.
Yeah, it's not going to be 12 episodes on and then a while off and then 12. It's going to be a constant run, which is scary, but exciting, but scary.
So could we now technically call ourselves a proper podcast now that we're weekly? We don't just marry off for half.
I'd say we were a proper podcast anyway, personally.
Nice. Same, yeah.
It's your full-time job, so it wasn't a proper podcast. Then,
Yeah. That would be a joke, wouldn't it?
It would be, in a way. Let's talk about that later on.
Hey,
but, yeah, very excited. And, yeah, we are kicking off this series with a truly horrendous case, it has to be said.
But, yeah, let me just say, boys, because this is such a big thing for us. Like, we've always done 12 weeks on and 12-ish weeks off. Maybe a little bit longer sometimes. Sorry about that. But I just want to say a massive thank you to all our listeners and viewers and people who really get involved with us, because we need you right now. We need the support. So please share us, speak with your friends about us. And now, because we're always on, don't be afraid to chuck cases our way. We can be a bit more reactionary in some cases. Would you agree, boys? We can look at older cases as well. But we're very much going to be in your ears and in your eyeballs constantly. And just quickly, boys, just as we begin, give me one word that you're feeling right now for this always on vibe. It has to be an interesting word, though. You can't just say excited. And then I'm going to ask you again, maybe in 12 weeks' time, and see how you feel.
I'm going to say rejuvenated, just because of what you're saying there, Dan. We aren't going to be as formulaic in terms of just do full episodes on certain cases. We are going to react to if new developments happen on another case, and they'll be written slightly differently, or we're going to be a bit more able to jump on cases and discuss things as they happen. And I think that is a nice little mix up with the podcast. And yeah, I think we've actually already filmed a few of these, and just I think the flow and vibe of it, I'm really excited and feel rejuvenated, just kind of tinkering with things a little bit, and looking forward to hopefully hearing more from the audience, what they want to hear. And guys as well, like, we haven't said this in a million years, but if you haven't already, just subscribe and follow us on the socials. It does really help, and on Spotify it helps get out there more. But yeah, very excited.
Benjamin, what about you?
Yeah, I think I echo a lot of what Tommy said there. Exuberant, maybe, because I can't say excited. Exuberant. I feel energized. I feel good. We've just come off the back of the darkest series ever, which was quite heavy.
Yeah.
And we're starting with a very heavy case today. But I feel excited and energized, and very interested to see which cases people send our way. And, as well as that, back weekly here, we're also weekly all the time over on our website. So if you just can't get enough of us, icmap.co.uk.
Ben, were you writing thesaurus for different words for excited when I was doing mine? Because I heard you type in and then you came with
a weather check.
Oh, you did a weather
check, yeah, sorry. No, exuberant came to mind, also energized, and they're kind of similar.
Yeah.
Just feeling fine.
All these.
Those are great words. I will check in with you in a few weeks' time, see if they're kind of the same words. My word is committed. Ooh, but it sounds like we weren't committed, or I wasn't committed before. We very much were, but we are fully committed right now. And I'm buzzing about it.
Dan, from all that excitement and big announcements, will you please bring the mood down and set the scene for this week's case?
Gladly. On the morning of October 9th, 2020, Texas State Trooper Lee Shavers pulled over a motorist on US Route 82 for driving erratically. Apparently, this person had nearly hit a truck, almost struck a cyclist, and veered into oncoming lanes multiple times, all while speeding. The vehicle put on its hazard lights, calmly pulled over, and simply waited. At no point could the officer have prepared himself for what he was about to encounter. As Trooper Shavers approached the vehicle, he heard the sounds of a woman crying for help. To his horror, he arrived at the driver's side window to see a 27-year-old woman covered in blood and attempting to perform CPR on her newborn baby. As she began to shake and hyperventilate, she informed the officer that she had just given birth and was on her way to the hospital as her 7-pound baby girl wasn't breathing. Trooper Shavers, observing that the umbilical cord still appeared to be attached, called for emergency services and the pair were rushed to a nearby hospital. There, the newborn was pronounced dead on arrival. And it was also revealed that this woman couldn't possibly have just given birth. In fact, it was revealed that she had never been pregnant in the first place. Some 46 miles away, the actual mother of the unborn baby was lying in a pool of her own blood, having suffered 152 separate injuries, including both her stomach and womb being sliced open. 10 months of lies had culminated in one of the most gruesome and calculated murder cases the state of Texas has ever seen. This is the horrifying true story of Taylor Parker and the fetal abduction murder.
Fetal abduction, which is, they are more, these types of cases, they are obviously rare compared to others, but they are still more common than you would like to imagine. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I think, Ben, you said when doing research for this case, there's certain areas in the world to avoid if you're pregnant because of this kind of case, which completely threw me. I never knew that was such a rife thing. Yeah, and Dan did a little social clip about this case not too long ago, which brought it to my attention. Truly horrific. We're starting dark, but it's one that we couldn't not cover.
It's absolutely fascinating how someone can wrap themselves so deeply in their own lives and manipulate other people's lives so heavily. It's. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it because some people reference, mental challenges that people have in this situation, and they find themselves in these horrible environments. But I'm on the flip side to this. This was calculated. This was planned. This was a truly horrific case.
Yeah, completely agreed, Dan. A lot of research went in on the perpetrator's part, and there are elements to this case I questioned in terms of, the intricate items she used to enhance her lies, and why there's a market for those things, because at the moment the only market I can understand is for pranks, and we'll get into that more later, but it's a weird world we're entering today, ladies and gents. Very, very weird and very, very scary, as is the normal world, really.
That's very deep, man.
Thank you. Profound could have been maybe my word.
Sorry to interrupt us. I have a message from someone very special to the podcast. It is Holy. Holy are back, powering ICMAP once again. These are really good friends of ours. We love them so much. Tom, why don't you give us a lowdown of what Holy are doing for us right now?
Yes, Holy is powering the season. We've been sipping away all episode with the hydration drinks. They also do energy drinks with 0 sugar and so many nice, lovely flavours. And Holy, they've said to us,
guys, you know what? We love just you guys drinking it, but we want your audience to drink it as well.
So they've given us the power to do a competition for you guys to win some Holy yourselves. Ben, what do they need to do to win it?
What do they need to do to win it?
Keep that in.
Yes, indeedy. All you need to do to be in with a chance of winning this amazing Holy bundle is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment Holy ICMAP, all one word, ideally block capitals, to be in with a chance of winning this beautiful little bundle. If you're already hydrated and deeply energized, they also have iced tea and milkshake ranges, which are deeply delicious, and I can't wait to see you enjoy them.
Looking through your fucking window.
And this bundle is absolutely fantastic. You could win the starter set deluxe, and you can taste all the holy best sellers. And there's no lie, there's 57 drinks and a shaker included in this bundle. And you get a free 12-pack cocktail box on top. And it will be delivered straight to your door. So please enter, get involved.
From factory to mouth.
But guys, if you don't like competition, you can always use our codes here to have some money off. And it really supports and helps the podcast. But anyway, back to us. So we are going to start by exploring all parties involved in this case. Taylor Parker, the perpetrator of such an atrocious series of crimes. Reagan Simmons-Hancock, the unfortunate victim of the case. And all the people within the network who are important to the story. We'll then move to a key timeline of events.
So, beginning with Reagan Michelle Simmons was born on the 14th of November 1998 in the city of Hope, Arkansas. She was 21 years old at the time that this week's case took place. Reagan was the eldest of two girls born to Jessica and Brandon Simmons, having a younger sister called Emily. When Reagan was still very young, her biological parents divorced and each married new partners not too long afterwards. This caused the family to relocate 50 miles west to the city of New Boston, Texas. The new marriages provided Reagan and Emily with a mixture of 3 new step-and-a-half siblings, a step-brother and step-sister from her mother's new relationship named Clayton and Destiny, as well as eventually a half-brother called Sawyer from her father's new relationship. Despite this big change, the new blended families remained incredibly close and supportive, with both biological parents regularly spending time with their daughters and other children. Reagan was regularly described as the natural leader, the bossy big sister, and the mama bear of the group, who often helped to look after the younger children from a young age. The home environment was said to have been loud and full of life, with Reagan becoming a deeply loving big sister who always looked out for everyone else before herself. And I thought, yeah, a little place called Hope, Arkansas. Really early, but quite interesting.
Maybe.
Ben Carter's interesting facts.
He's gone early.
He's gone very early, yeah. And what's it called when you play your cards? I played all my cards.
Oh.
ABBA. But yes, welcome back, guys. You might be seeing and hearing from us a little bit more. And I thought, yeah, why not? Because this is such a dark case. Bring a little bit of lightness early doors. A little one for you. Hope, Arkansas. Interesting sounding place. Hopefully there's a backing track because dead silent there. Dead silent. But this is the very city where 42nd President of America Bill Clinton was born.
No way.
Yeah, I know. I got more. I mean, in fact, the house that he was born and raised in, Dan, if you like that part, it still stands today.
Fuck.
Yeah. And he even famously referenced his hometown in his presidential campaign, saying, I think Tommy does a pretty good Bill Clinton.
Oh, yes, please.
Never done it.
I still believe in a place called Hope.
I still believe in a place called Hope.
There you go.
Although I thought him saying that actually could be a bit confusing because there are actually 18 other places in America that could have claimed he referenced them. There are 19 bloody Hopes in America.
That's a lot of hope.
It's a lot of hope for a big old place. A notable one is Hope, Maine on the East Coast, Hope, Alaska, which is a tiny remote village sitting on the Kenai Peninsula, and Hope, Arizona, a desert community famous for local road signs warning travelers are beyond hope. Loads of other states, including Hope, but I thought that's an interesting sounding place. Are there any places less hopeful than that?
We haven't really talked about the place. You talked about other places called the name of it.
Yeah. Just a hope.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah. So I thought if you're looking, if you find yourself in America and you're looking for some less hopeful locations, then why not check out the community of Hell, Michigan?
No, there's not.
There really is.
Really?
Hell, Michigan. Check it out, guys. A very real town where the river regularly freezes over, literally creating hell freezing over.
Nice.
It's small. It's very small.
Small hell.
Small hell. Little hell. Welcome to Little Hell. It is real, isn't it?
It's called Hell.
Thank you.
It's classified as an unincorporated community.
Damn.
Ooh, hell off the radar? Off the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Off the grid hell.
Well, according to a man named Randall Knapp on Quora, it's a very real place. It started as a place in the woods that men would regularly gather to talk away from their wives. Legend has it the moonshine was made there, away from the local police.
Sounds to me like that's men sneaking off in the woods. I think they're just talking to each other.
Randall goes one further and tries to make it sound a bit cooler. It's got its name from when women would ask each other, "Where's your husband?" And they would say, "Oh, he's gone to hell." And then the name stuck.
He's gone to hell.
Yeah. So if hell doesn't float your boat, why not check out Grimville, Pennsylvania, just east of Crumsville.
A lot of ants.
Yeah, big ants, yeah. Named after, apparently, the German immigrant family, the Grimms.
Big up the Germans.
So yeah, you've got hell and you've got Grimville. But if you want maybe a sunnier spot, why not check out Slaughter Beach, Delaware?
Ooh.
Yeah, which despite its name... It is a bit. I thought on the nose, or might be a Goosebumps book.
Yeah.
Slaughter Beach. Yeah. But it looks pretty nice, and depending on who you ask, it was either named after a 19th century postmaster named William Slaughter, an annual mass stranding of dying horseshoe crabs that were found on the shoreline, or, and this one's a bit bleak, a grisly local legend about an 18th century massacre allegedly committed on the beach by a man named Brabant, who used a cannon to kill several Native Americans. And few people not happy with that location title as well. Recently, the animal welfare charity PETA, or PETA, is it PETA or PETA? PETA?
PETA,
I think.
They've apparently regularly campaigned to the local mayor to change the name of the beach to Sanctuary Beach because they don't like the name Slaughter.
Yeah, I think I'd rather spend a nice day on the Sanctuary Beach than Slaughter Beach.
Yeah, agreed. So there you go. You know, you've got hope, or you've got hell, or you've got Grimville, or you've got Slaughter. Did go early, didn't I?
Interesting, though. At least that's one thing about it.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Yeah, right? It is kind of...
It was actually.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah. Back to the
sorry, Tom, we say it wasn't interesting.
I'll let the audience decide.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, yeah, back to the case, guys.
Ben Carter's Interesting Facts.
Yeah, Bonsey, if you want to cut that out, you can do what you want with that, mate. Nice one.
You plonk it anywhere. Plug it in the bin.
No, it is good. Growing up, Reagan attended a local high school in New Boston, where she was widely known for her bright, outgoing personality and her incredibly strong work ethic, even from an early age. However, her life took a massive turn when she was just 17 years old and still in school, when she fell pregnant and became a mother to her first daughter, Kinley. While the prospect of becoming a teenage parent could have overwhelmed many, Reagan's natural mama bear instincts kicked in and she took to motherhood instantly. She became completely devoted to giving her baby the absolute best life she possibly could. The father of Kinley has not been named, and very little has been publicly disclosed about him, though it is alleged that he was a high school boyfriend who didn't remain in Reagan's life for too long. A year or so later, as Reagan was still working through life as a young single parent, she developed a friendship with a man by the name of Homer Hancock, and this changed her life completely. Homer, who was described as a gentle giant, had gone to the same high school as Reagan, and they'd known each other for approximately 5 years, but they had never really connected. Homer was just a few months older than Reagan, and was known as a hard-working individual who worked the early morning shift as a farmhand and heavy equipment operator at a commercial farming company. The pair quickly entered a romantic relationship. Homer fell head over heels for Reagan, and, despite having no experience, he stepped up completely to look after Kinley as his very own, adoring the pair of them.
On the afternoon of September 21st, 2019, Homer and Reagan tied the knot in a beautiful but budget-friendly ceremony at Elliott Lake in Texas, surrounded by their loving families. In that moment, Reagan became Reagan Michelle Simmons-Hancock. The honeymoon phase only sweetened just a few months later when Reagan discovered that she was pregnant for a second time, this time with a baby girl they planned to name Braxlyn Sage. These were among the happiest moments of Reagan and Homer's young lives. It was an incredibly blissful time of anticipation, and Reagan felt like everything in her life was slowly falling perfectly into place. However, it was just a few months earlier, while planning her dream wedding, that Reagan had searched out and hired a local photographer to capture her engagement party and her big day at a very competitive price. A polite, attentive woman who seemed to blend right in with the Simmons-Hancock families, a young woman by the name of Taylor Parker.
Ray.
Oh, David Parker Ray, yeah.
That's not even close. Not even close.
Taylor Parker was born Taylor Renee Morton on the 8th of December 1992, and she was raised in Titus County, Texas, just 40 miles away from the city of New Boston. She was 27 years old at the time that this week's case took place. Taylor was the eldest of 2 children born to Shona Pryor and Mark Morton, having a younger brother called Zachary. Her upbringing, as you may have expected, was vastly different to Reagan's. Her parents were said to have argued frequently, with the family home being extremely volatile for the 2 young children as they grew up. It is speculated that physical violence and mental manipulation were also both present in the household on a regular basis. By the time that Taylor turned 13, her parents divorced and moved away from one another. And yeah, this divorce was handled very differently to how Reagan's biological parents divorced. You know, they all remained very close. They moved further away, and in the custody agreement, it was made slightly more challenging by the fact that both her and her younger brother were separated in that agreement. So Zachary remained with his mother, whilst Taylor decided to move away and live with her father as well as her paternal grandmother. And this might be, or this is where a lot of people suggest, Taylor's life took a big turn. So living under her father's new shared roof would have a profound, particularly dark impact on Taylor's still developing personality. When later taking the stand at her 2022 trial, her younger brother Zachary gave a frightening insight into their upbringing, testifying under oath that their father routinely used both children as pawns throughout the divorce process. Zachary also stated that their father struggled with drugs and would constantly abandon his children to go and chase after women. Zachary noted a disturbing pattern that Taylor would go on to follow herself, telling the jury the following.
When Dad was chasing other women or drugs, we were put on the back burner, and he totally forgot we existed. It seemed like when Taylor was a parent herself and also chasing other men, instead of the focus being on her children, it was totally on herself and her own personal interests. She was always lying, constantly. But she made a big mistake by bringing me into all of her lies.
So yeah, we're going to go into these lies now, but I mean, she would get herself into more than just a pickle with some of these lies. I mean, the ultimate end result of this case, she lied so much that, well, her options were either to admit to all these lies or do something absolutely monstrous, and she went for option B there. But yeah, some of these lies at such an early age are highly troubling.
The lies that Zachary is referring to started out when Taylor was still a teenager. Friends and classmates later recalled that she was a pathologic liar from a young age, fabricating elaborate, attention-seeking stories about her health, her relationships, and her family life just to manipulate the people around her. Many believe that these were the early signs of someone with sociopathic tendencies. In middle school, minor injuries that Taylor had sustained would suddenly evolve into claims that she had terminal cancer, multiple sclerosis, brain tumours, and a number of strokes. And by the end of high school, she became totally trapped in an unsettling cycle of faking both pregnancies and miscarriages. Even once going so far as to cut the head off a classmate's maternity photo and gluing her own face over it. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is really quite scary because I feel like I definitely worked with someone who was 99% sociopathic, and it was in a former job, it was one of my first jobs ever, and he would tell stories about getting different illnesses, getting different injuries, but also would create this second job that he had outside of this workplace, which was a world famous DJ.
Oh, nice.
And so when he would like come into shift, he'd be like, oh, I've just come back from Ibiza, I've just come back from wherever, Ayia Napa. And then he'd show photos of him DJing, and it would just be the hands on the decks, but the hands were so hairy and his hands had no hair. This Taylor sticking her head on a maternity photo just reminded me of my granddad's best friend caught a really big fish when they went carp fishing, so my granddad cut his head out and stuck it on his photo with the fish. So it does happen playfully.
Well, your granddad wasn't trying to hoodwink.
I think it was quite obvious. It was a very, very bad job. Yeah.
It's a funny one because I don't want to defend anybody who does this, but when the whole lying thing happens quite early on in age, I feel like it can start off as an attention-seeking thing, like a genuine sort of cry for attention, not necessarily in a bad way, but people just need to be heard. And I think the lying situation is quite an easy way to to get heard instantly. It's almost like an instant gratification in the sense of, I've got this problem, so your eyes and ears need to be on me right now. So I kind of, when you're growing up, I kind of get that. But then it's so easy. It's almost like a one-way road, isn't it? It's a one-way ticket to, unless you kind of have some sort of consequence early on in terms of the lying or the kind of manipulation of other people's emotions, and you realise that it's a wrong thing to do, it's immoral. If you don't have that fairly early on, I feel like it's a long one-way road that you can't really come back from without colossal hurt and reflection.
But it's interesting as well, because even just you're saying that point there, Dan, made me think there's two different types of children lying. There's, yeah, like she's doing all these illnesses, wanting sympathy, and then you've got DJ Baker who's lying about cool, interesting stuff, trying to make himself appear cooler. So it's a very different, like, because I know kids are differently, would lie loads about things which is just like, that's just not true. You could tell it wasn't true, but they're trying to make themselves have more value. Therefore, you want to be their friend, perhaps, which is also really sad. Like, and I think children lying in this way, yeah, totally, I completely agree. That stems from, I don't think they want to be doing that. They're doing it for attention because they're not getting it from home, or even a cry for help. People look into my background a bit and kind of, yeah. So it is definitely a red flag.
But could you also argue your DJ friend, that's also a cry for help? Or is it literally like, this is what I've done this weekend, boys, and it's fucking quality? Or is it kind of a subconscious, like, I feel like I'm not enough, so I need to prove to other people that I'm actually doing bits?
Yeah, I think, Dan, I think you're right. I think it is that. It's the, I'm not enough, this cool stuff. But you have some people who you just meet and they just literally just will constantly, like, you're sad. You go, you don't need to do, you're a nice person. You don't need to do all this stuff around yourself. You are enough. But yeah, it's sad.
And the thing is, well, and we'll go on to it, I'm sure, about like the whole social media. We've talked about it before. There is such a pressure for almost everybody to feel like they're doing bits when they're looking at other people's highlight reels. Yeah. And you quite easily can fall into this trap that I need to prove that I'm doing this, or I'm successful, or I've got money in the bank. It's like you said, Tom, you don't need it. You're enough as you are.
AI is going to make that very scary, isn't it, for social media, for kids pretending to do X, Y, and Z. And also colleague, but he was a colleague, not a friend.
I guess, like, I've heard before another podcast I listened to that it's the end of the pub bullshitter, because if they say something, you can just prove it it's not true by going to Google. But now, like you said with AI, it could be it could be the return of the bullshitter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's quite easy to put David Beckham with his arm around you. Oh, yeah, I met Beckham last week. And you can't be like, did you?
Well, this is the thing, the part where we get to her elaborate enhancing her lies with these products that I couldn't believe were for sale, but the main reason they were for sale is pranks. You can just do them all with AI these days now anyway, which makes it even more scary. If you link this to the world of true crime.
Yeah.
But a lot of hoodwinking.
So, ironically, just like the victim in our story, Taylor would also become a mother for the first time at the young age of 17, giving birth to a daughter named Emerson. However, whilst Reagan put all of her energy into becoming a devoted and loving mother to her daughter, Taylor instead is alleged to have used her pregnancy as just another opportunity to gain attention and control. Having fallen pregnant by a high school boyfriend named Donald Whiteside Jr., Taylor instantly weaponized their situation. She apparently faked a great number of medical emergencies, created multiple false premature labour scares, often in public, and manipulated everyone around her for constant sympathy. Shockingly, the moment the baby Emerson was actually born and the spotlight faded, Taylor's interest in her daughter suddenly vanished as well. She often placed the newborn with family members so that she could go on dates and go on nights out with friends after she apparently caught Donald cheating on her. The young baby was no longer of interest to her, and if anything, was an inconvenience to her trying to find a new partner. At around the same time, after being fired from her role at a staffing agency, Taylor began working at a local obstetrics and gynecology practice. Chillingly, in the context of the case, this new role gave her access to a wealth of medical knowledge and paperwork. The exact tools she would later use to forge medical records and fake her own pregnancies.
Yeah, and we'll go into the multiple elements of why she was fired from different roles for a particular future instance of fraud. And at this point as well, her mother, her father, her first serious relationship, the father of her first child, she's starting now to generate big abandonment issues. And it seems to have played a huge part in what will later happen with a future partner, kind of having enough of her. That's when she seems to change significantly into this different person.
As she entered her 20s, this toxic pattern only escalated further. Taylor went through a series of volatile relationships, marrying and quickly divorcing 2 different men before she turned 26. This was Tommy Waskasey and Hunter Parker. And it's worth pointing out that she actually married Hunter just 11 days after the divorce with Tommy was finalised. That's quick.
You can't hurry love.
It's very quick.
She also gave birth to her second child during this time, a son named Trey, who she had when she was 21 years old, but later gave up custody of and owed more than $8,000 in child support for. This pregnancy was difficult because Taylor was legitimately suffering from preeclampsia, which is a dangerous condition involving high blood pressure. Here is where things get slightly complicated and convoluted, and it's very much a turning point in this week's case. After giving birth to Trey, which she considered a difficult pregnancy, Taylor underwent a major gastric bypass surgery the following year in 2014 to completely transform her physical appearance. Alongside this, she also opted to have a procedure to have her tubes tied. However, just a year after this, in 2015, that procedure failed. Taylor suffered a life-threatening ectopic pregnancy, which is another dangerous medical complication where a fertilised egg implants and grows outside the main cavity of the uterus rather than inside it. This forced doctors to rush her in for emergency surgery. Now, while Taylor was under anaesthesia, surgeons discovered that her abdomen had severe endometriosis scarring, as well as numerous complex cysts. Her organs were essentially fusing together, which is why her husband and her mother had to authorise an immediate, emergency full hysterectomy while she was still on the operating table. Waking up to find her uterus, cervix and ovary removed left 22-year-old Taylor permanently sterilised, physically incapable of ever conceiving or carrying a child again, and incredibly resentful at the world. Although it was an unforeseen medical necessity that she had legally consented to before the operation, she would go on to harbour a deep hatred of the incident for several years, falsely claiming to her future partners that a rogue medical team, together with her ex-husband, had stolen her fertility without her consent.
So this is a huge moment in the case. Obviously, at this point, if you're less intelligent like me, Taylor obviously was in a position where her tubes had been tied. However, there is surgery available to you to have that reversed, and you still, although your chances are lowered, you still have a chance to conceive and have children again. However, she obviously was not aware that the full hysterectomy was going to take place, and obviously it saved her life. But this is a huge turning point in the case now. So she no longer can have children, although she was at a point previously where she possibly didn't want to have any more, having 2 already. This kind of changes her stance on that slightly.
And it is, to be fair, it's a horrible situation to wake up from. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, I know she consented to that before the operation, but to still wake up after that and to realise your whole body has effectively changed that dramatically. I think anybody would be angry, upset, resentful to some degree. But yeah, this is where perhaps she's taken a particular road that she can't return from.
Totally. I think it's as we said, it was done so she could survive, essentially. And you're resentful at the world, but it had to be done. I mean, a lot of people I know would be deeply upset by that, having that choice taken away. But yeah, it's hard to put in context going, well, that saved her life, and she wasn't able to kind of compute that was why it was done. And then obviously the history of making things where she's the victim, this also fell into that category where she could easily twist it to new people. No matter what she went on to do, for anyone this would be deeply upsetting.
So, from this moment onwards, according to close friends and family members, Taylor appeared to be a totally different person. Despite the fact that she already had 2 young children of her own, she and her then husband Hunter would apparently approach female friends and acquaintances and offer them $50,000 each to be surrogate mothers for them, as Taylor apparently desperately wanted more babies. Now, for the most part, it is believed that Taylor did this by herself rather than ever involving Hunter. Either way, the marriage eventually ended in another divorce. This brings us to the summer of 2019 and the introduction of a man who had absolutely no idea about any of Taylor's dark, highly exaggerated past. And this was a man by the name of Wade Griffin. Wade was a hard-working local roofing supervisor and part-time hog trapper who met Taylor at a regional rodeo, which is quality. And he comes across so well in this documentary. I really liked him instantly, but just very easygoing.
Do you boys reckon you could trap a hog?
They're quite fucking strong.
Yeah. Well, I said that like I knew that, but I don't. But they look it.
I wouldn't back myself.
A full-grown one or a baby hog?
They always change the rules. Just go for it.
Oh, full-grown one, I'm saying no. Baby one, I might have a chance.
Baby one would be quicker.
Oh, yeah, fuck. No, Dan. No, I wouldn't. Would you?
No. I'd give it a go, though, genuinely, but no.
Better catch your breath, let alone hog.
That's a burn. So at this rodeo, the pair hit it off instantly, and by October of 2019, just a few weeks after Taylor had photographed Reagan and Homer's wedding, Taylor packed up her things and moved into Wade's home in the nearby rural town of DeKalb, Texas. I double-checked, it's definitely DeKalb. It's like DeKalb, Texas. It's kind of like that. Right,
So it's not DeKalb.
That's what I would have said, DeKalb, but I would have got jumped on for saying it like that, so I've gone with DeKalb, Texas. Less offensive.
Doing the accent's probably more offensive.
And the face, yeah. To Wade, Taylor appeared to be the perfect, not afraid to roll her sleeves up and get dirty country girl. And despite Wade's friends thinking that he might not be quite as into her as she was into him, Taylor had shared 2 pieces of confidential information with Wade that led him to believe that their future together was going to be incredible.
Number one.
No like it.
Number one, she'd informed him that she was the sole heiress to the Blackburn syrup fortune. Which, never heard of it, but there's a jam factory where I live, and you'd think that's a lovely place to live by. Stinks. Stinks.
What does it smell of? Not jam?
Burning?
Yeah, it's just a really potent, horrible smell.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
I remember as a child, my mum worked near a facility that made perfume, a perfume factory, and you think, oh, perfume, that'll smell lovely. Oh, so sulfuric. Oh, nasty.
Jeez. So the Blackburn syrup fortune, which is a multi-million-dollar local pancake and waffle syrup empire, not just this, also a Western Sulphur Riverbed oil company. So yeah, not just the pancakes, not the syrup, just oil as well.
We'll have
She
the
convinced
lot.
Wade. Sorry?
We'll have the lot. As a Harry Potter.
Okay, cut that out once. She convinced Wade that she was on the verge of receiving $8 million. With this information, she nudged Wade to go on a wild spending spree before the money had even arrived, with the pair buying a $92,000 heavy-duty pickup truck, brand new quad bikes, an $80,000 commercial tractor, a new car for Wade's mother, and even herds of live cattle. If that wasn't wild enough, Taylor also got Wade eyeing up a sprawling $4.7 million pecan farm ranch known as Pecan Point, a property deal she eventually expanded further with the sellers to include a staggering $20 million portfolio of land.
She talks the talk.
She bloody well does. Fake it till you make it, but maybe not this far. Maybe Pecan Point was a point too far. Wade absolutely fell in love with it because it featured beautiful cattle pastures, massive pecan groves, and private hunting reservoirs that he could use with his friends and family. So Taylor paid, or tried to pay for this, all with a forged multi-million-dollar check that she signed using the name Taylor Parker Griffin, even though the pair were not even married. So as well as this, she would go on to make up a whole web of made-up characters to vouch for her or to help with payments and stuff, and she basically made her a whole made-up world along with Pecan Point.
Yeah. It's so, interesting is probably the wrong word, but she basically arrived, when she met Wade, she said that none of her family are in touch with her. It's her grandparents' fortune, but her mother's trying to stop this money getting to her. She has a really bad relationship with her mother, when actually her mother would have been the only one to tell Wade the truth. Wade obviously didn't know she couldn't get pregnant. He knew about her 2 children, but never saw the son. But this is the part where it's really odd, because some of these items do turn up and kind of look legit. You know, the trucks turn up, the farming equipment turns up, the quad bikes turn up. So Wade's probably thinking here, wow, I've just met a multi-millionaire who is really into me and is going to buy me this huge plot of land, and my family are set. He has no knowledge of everything we've already been through with regards to Taylor.
So as Ben mentioned there, the stuff did arrive, but then the checks inevitably bounced, and the luxury vehicles were all repossessed right away from the driveways that they were placed in. So yeah, kind of the world come crashing down around Wade there, making him question what is going on. And a nice little note here is the fact that one of her made-up characters was a lawyer named Blake Laurenton, which...
Yeah, well, this part of the case is really bizarre, because to do this, she's creating numerous social media accounts, email accounts. She owns about 30 different mobile phones. She's using voice-changing technology to speak on the phone as a male. She's creating family members that can vouch for her, including an Uncle Butch, who's a multimillionaire and was going to wire transfer, $500,000 to her to cover all these vehicles being repossessed. So at the same time, Wade's family's thinking this amazing new girlfriend of their son has just gifted them all these trucks, but then as soon as they start being repossessed, okay, what's going on here? Their trust of her is starting to shake a little bit. So she now needs to come up with another lie to cover this lie, or this series of lies.
Well, yeah, this is it, isn't it? These already quite big lies, which are involved financially as well as in your families and relationships, they've already crumbled somewhat, and she has to jump at the chance to create some more, to keep going, to commit. Yeah.
And I guess an appeal to Wade as well is, although he's somewhat local, he's still isolated from all of her friends, family. You know, no one's able to contact Wade, although she is posting on social media, on Facebook, tagging him and stuff. So her actual friends and family can see all this unfolding, but they might not know all the money side of things yet. But this next part is where they will start to see things.
It's always a red flag if you meet someone and they haven't got any old friends, as in like people they've been friends with for years. I think it's always a red flag.
What is it as well? We've talked about it in a former case. Is it love bombing? Is she love bombing at this stage? But love bombing with a hint of lies? Well, a bit more than a hint of lies.
Kind of, I guess.
In a way it is, yeah.
With like material things.
Yeah.
Yes, also she's lying, but kind of a physical representation of her lying, isn't it, really? It's taking it to the next level.
So, with her financial lies and multiple backstories now completely exposed, Wade was ready to end the relationship and ask her to leave. However, to trap him, she announced a fake pregnancy, knowing he would never abandon his unborn child. This was the fourth time in her life that Taylor had done this. Over the next 9 months, the pair celebrated with Wade's family only, as the pair announced that they were pregnant. To Taylor's friends and family, who saw the news on social media, she made the absurd claim that her reproductive organs had just naturally grown back after a hysterectomy. To do this, Taylor provided fake ultrasound photos, she wore a fake silicone belly under her clothes, and the pair even held a gender reveal party. Apparently, loud cheers erupted from guests when Taylor, Wade and her children let out a baby calf wearing a giant pink feather bow and a fluffy pink flower around its neck, as the couple confirmed that the baby girl would be called Clancy Gale.
This is what I mentioned at the start, these extra products that she's buying. Like, there's lots of legitimate companies, including Amazon, that will do you a fake ultrasound photo, but apparently the main purpose for this market is pranks.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to prank about.
Or acting.
Yeah.
I guess props, yeah. Yeah. And like
what prank? That's not a cool
when
prank,
you click. So if you click the link, because the company they use, you can put the name, your own name, the hospital. Like, it's very intricate. I mean, there's even free ultrasound generators with names now that just do it with AI. But you can get them off Amazon next day delivered with your name, custom message, date, hospital name.
And I just thought fake ultrasound prank photo.
Yeah.
Realistic pregnancy sonogram picture.
I was having this chat last night with Tara because I was like, what market is this? It makes me immediately quite nervous. And I couldn't think of like because presumably it would be mainly women buying these.
See, that is, I mean, I just scrolled down to the product description And the first line is, looking for a hilarious and realistic pregnancy prank? This personalised fake ultrasound print is designed to create unforgettable reactions while looking incredibly authentic.
Yeah. I just feel like that's a really murky... Obviously, they're breaking no laws, but it's a murky world there. And yeah, the fake silicone belly, as Dan said with the other thing, prop maybe, for acting. Is there any other reason?
Yeah, that's what I thought straight away. Yeah, props and acting and stuff. Fine.
I prefer thinking of it that way. That makes me feel less uncomfortable.
But yeah, you can get anything these days, can't you? From this conversation we were having last night about that being a weird market, can you have fake... what is the purpose of that? You can also get fake illness certification, which is quite scary. So like people, people want to have a sick day from work right now, I guess it's never been easier.
Don't get any ideas,
Yeah,
mate.
exactly. I was thinking, yeah.
Hey,
Ben's pregnant next week and
I've got a tropical disease.
too much lilt.
So the pair then had a professional maternity photo shoot taken. Wade now found himself in a very strange place. He was highly disturbed by Taylor's lies and the massive financial fraud she had committed, but he was so excited to become a father. This was made more concerning when one of Taylor's ex-husbands, Hunter, reached out to him anonymously to warn him that Taylor couldn't have been pregnant, had been an abusive parent to her son, and had also been repeatedly unfaithful. Although he distanced himself slightly, Wade remained by her side as he was in love with the idea of being a father to a baby girl. By late September of 2020, Taylor's imaginary due date had completely passed and the clock was rapidly ticking. Desperate for a new excuse, she told Wade that she was scheduled to be induced for a C-section at the Titus Regional Medical Centre the following week on October 5th. But, as that date approached, Taylor realised she had zero medical records to show for it. So, she did what she always did. She improvised and she lied. On the very day she was scheduled to be induced, a bizarre anonymous bomb threat suddenly forced the entire hospital into a chaotic lockdown. Which is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. I think as well, a point for Wade as well, because a lot of people would immediately be asking, well, he's been with Taylor for more than 9 months as this silicone belly is growing. How is he not clocking that she isn't actually pregnant, this and that? And what Taylor would do is not allow him to touch her. They'd sleep in separate beds. She'd often go into the bathroom or toilet for hours on end without him being able to see her change clothes, things like that. Apparently, friends and family were allowed to touch the belly and she would somehow make it appear as though it kicked. So I don't know if you can get like silicone bellies with gadgets.
Don't have any ideas, Ben.
But yeah, for Wade, he's just thinking the end goal here is I'm going to be a father to a baby girl. Maybe, we can work things out with Taylor, but yeah, she's just not allowed anyone to see the truth. And these anonymous messages that he'd start to get became quite abusive and threatening. Some believe that Taylor was also sending him and herself abusive threats, pretending to be other people, to try and make her, him need to protect her. It's all very, very murky.
And it's speculated she used a voice changer again to commit this bomb threat, which is, again, a whole this atmosphere of desperation to not let the inevitable, which is giving birth to a baby when you're due, happen. It's so amazing how one person can create a wake of just carnage.
And endanger a whole hospital worth of people, like endanger all their lives because of a lie that she is.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
As well as this, at the exact same time, a mysterious fire broke out back at Wade's house. Using the utter chaos she had created as a smokescreen, Taylor quickly changed her story, telling a highly concerned Wade, fresh from putting out a fire, that the medical centre was now no longer safe, and that her C-section had been moved across the state line to McCurtain Memorial Hospital in Oklahoma. The date she was given was 4 days away, the morning of October 9th, 2020. And that is exactly where we begin our timeline of the murder of Reagan Simmons-Hancock.
October 9th, 2020. By this point, as we mentioned earlier, Taylor Parker and Reagan Simmons-Hancock had gone from acquaintances to good friends. Taylor had photographed Reagan's engagement party and her wedding, and had in fact been invited into Reagan's family home the night before. Taylor visited the house to bring a now heavily pregnant Reagan a baby gift and to share a Starbucks coffee with her. They stood together inside the freshly prepared nursery, talking about baby topics, before Taylor then said goodbye and left for the night. But that nursery would never be used. At roughly 5 a.m., Homer Hancock kissed Reagan goodbye and left their New Boston home for his early morning labor shift at the farm, completely unaware that he had just left Reagan entirely unprotected. Taylor had been waiting for this exact window of time. Just minutes later, armed with a scalpel and a hammer, she knocked on the front door. Despite it being so early in the morning, Reagan still invited her inside. Over the next few hours, a defenseless Reagan was subjected to a brutal and sustained attack, suffering 152 separate injuries, before Taylor used the scalpel to attempt to surgically extract baby Braxlin from her womb. Of these 152 injuries, 113 were sharp force with the scalpel and a kitchen knife that was later found inside the house, whilst 39 of them were blunt force with a hammer and a 4-pound glass mason jar, which served as a gender reveal keepsake for Reagan and Homer. And there's quite an infamous crime scene image of this. It's filled with pink and blue sand and heavily blood-stained. Reagan had a broken nose as well as 5 skull fractures. Her jugular vein had also been severed, and many of the stab wounds were violent enough to reach bone. The medical blade of the scalpel was still left lodged deep in her neck tissue. All of this occurred whilst Reagan's 3-year-old daughter Kinley was hiding in the back of the house, covered in her mother's blood. And fortunately, she was not harmed during the attack. A forensic investigation would show that the attack was carried out throughout numerous rooms in the house, with Reagan eventually collapsing and bleeding to death from her wounds. Taylor then fled the scene with the unborn baby in her arms. This was apparently the only way that she could maintain her relationship with Wade. 21-year-old Reagan Simmons-Hancock, a cherished mother, daughter, and wife, was now dead, just weeks away from her due date. And this is where we return to the introduction of the episode, with Taylor being pulled over by Highway Patrol due to her driving erratically whilst on her way to Oklahoma. And this is the location where she told Wade she was going to have a C-section. It's just an absolute... Someone's told so many lies that in her mind, this is the only way out.
Reading through that attack, Ben, and those injuries that she sustained, it really makes you angry and physically sick. That it's like you just said, it's got to this stage. I wouldn't mind asking you a question. This is kind of what I insinuated at the start of the episode, that some people talk about Taylor experiencing like complete, like a mental breakdown. So this is such desperation. And again, this is not defending her. This is just her web of lies have been built up so much that it's just her brain is clouded with these things that she has to do. Or is it, in your eyes, still very calculated, deliberate, almost clear-minded in the sense of, I have to do this, I want to do this, this is the only way that this can happen? I feel like it's really interesting kind of just figuring out what's going on in her mind in this situation.
I think... and maybe because it's because I want to believe it rather than the other ways, I think it is the breakdown and suddenly them seeing no resolution. Like we've had it before with other cases when, why not just divorce and leave? Why do you have to kill your family member? Like, or your wife or whatever. Like, it seems to be like something goes in the head. This is the only way to solution to this is this. And I don't think it's a practical or thought out way of doing things. And you already see like the fact that she's calling in bomb threats and all this stuff, all her erratic behaviour is escalating and escalating and escalating. So yeah, I think something just snaps.
It's weird, isn't it? Because it's erratic, but at the same time, it's actually quite calculated. Everything she's doing is kind of deliberate.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hear everything Tom just said, but I disagree. I think she's researched this, planned this. It was later proven that she'd specifically researched 35-week pregnant deliveries or removals of babies, and that was exactly the time that that Reagan was at. I think it's frantic, and I think it's basically she got to a point where everyone around her was doubting that she was actually pregnant, including Wade, and the only way that she could prove that she was pregnant is either to fake a miscarriage or to somehow have a baby. And she's, for some reason, which might link more to what Tom is saying, for some reason she's chosen that option. But I think there's so much planning, premeditation, and it's all the medical experts in this documentary were saying how painful this would have been for Reagan. It's incredibly painful what the method of murder has been in this case. Yeah. What do you think, Dan?
A bit of a cop-out answer, but both, really. It's
It could be, yeah.
It's to me, she kind of hasn't lost control because she can still make these quite calculated, deliberate decisions, albeit they are erratic in nature, and they're just something that a normal person wouldn't think. But at the same time, the world that she's living in is so false, is so fake that it is disconnected from reality in that sense. So, it's obviously a bit of a spectrum, but I think weirdly she's slap bang in the middle. She's got both sides.
So we'll play this clip of Taylor being pulled over and approached now, and there is a lot of online criticism of State Trooper Shavers for him he's being very calm. I mean, he's remained very calm, which I suppose is a good thing, but he himself has not provided any medical efforts, I suppose, or offered to try and help. But I mean, what do you do in that situation? He's immediately called for medical help, but I've just found it quite jarring that there's a lot of criticism of his reaction online. So we'll play this clip for you now.
What's wrong, ma'am?
I had my baby and I'm trying to get to Idabel Hospital.
Idabel?
Yeah, my husband's up there.
Why aren't you going to St. Michael's or somewhere?
We're going to Idabel. It's where my doctor is. I need to get up there.
Shortly after this, with State Trooper Lee Shavers observing the umbilical cord appearing intact, Taylor was rushed to a nearby hospital. Taylor had in fact tucked the umbilical cord down her trousers. After arriving at the hospital, the baby girl, later named Braxton Sage, was pronounced dead on arrival. And it quickly became clear to medical professionals that Taylor was not telling the truth and that the baby likely didn't belong to her. With one doctor stating on a police body cam, "Do not let her leave." As well as this, Taylor refused to let anybody examine her. This was despite her being covered in blood. To confirm their suspicions, doctors immediately ran an ultrasound and tested her hormone levels. Within minutes, the medical evidence found was staggering. Not only had she not given birth that day, but Taylor didn't even have a uterus. In addition to this, doctors observed bruising to the scalp of the unborn baby and a swelling on the umbilical cord, likely caused during the attack and subsequent forced traumatic extraction. Doctors concluded that some of the 39 blunt force injuries had also struck the baby. Meanwhile, at 10:18 a.m, Reagan's mother, Jessica Brooks, grew frantic when her daughter wouldn't answer her phone. Driving over to check on her, Jessica walked through the open garage door and straight into a living nightmare, finding her daughter in a pool of her own blood with a portion of her abdomen open, and her granddaughter hiding in the rear of the house. New Boston police were immediately called and investigators rushed to the scene before sharing information with detectives in Oklahoma. DNA testing later confirmed that the unborn baby was not Taylor's biological child, but rather the child of Reagan's.
So we're going to play the 911 call from Reagan's mother now. Just a warning, it is highly distressing.
New Boston 911, what's your emergency? Ma'am. Ma'am.
Help me, my daughter's been murdered.
Okay, where are you located at? In New Boston?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. Somebody got in her house. She's dead.
Okay.
So yeah, that morning before everything happened, Taylor had tricked Wade into like a significant hog delivery. So basically sold a number of livestock to this fake buyer and sent him away from home for her to then go and do this. The crime scene photos, as I mentioned earlier, are absolutely horrendous. There are also I found this really hard to kind of process. Ultra scan photos on the fridge not far from where Reagan was lying dead. Just so upsetting, so unfair, so completely unfair.
27-year-old Taylor Parker was arrested later that day on suspicion of murdering both Reagan Simmons-Hancock and her child. She was handcuffed and led through the hospital and its car park in a hospital gown. She was then immediately extradited back to Texas.
Watch toes, please.
No circumstance she to have her phone or purse.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
She's to be separated from her boyfriend who's down there.
Is he being booked in right now?
Huh?
If he's being booked in
He's
right
not being
now?
booked in.
Okay.
She's the only one that's going to be booked in.
Okay.
You know the baby's dead.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay.
Exactly a week later, she was charged with murder, capital murder, and kidnapping. During that time, she was repeatedly interviewed in jail without a lawyer present, where she asserted that she was a good person to investigators.
It's eating me. I can't sleep.
Well,
I can't think. I'm a good person.
you are. Okay.
I will never understand it, I don't think.
Well, that's why we're talking about, okay? So I need some help too, all right?
Oh, shit.
But here's something I need to ask you, okay? So the night before, y'all had a conversation, just you and her,
Yeah,
behind closed doors.
yeah.
All right. And, now's the time to be honest, as honest as you can be, all right? There's no reason to try to divert, no reason to try to lie. What's done is done, okay? It's horrible. I get that, all right?
So Reagan confronted you about not being pregnant?
She knew. I mean, she didn't she wasn't ugly to me
No,
about
I'm not
it.
saying that she was ugly, but she said, hey, you're telling everybody you're pregnant, but it's obvious you're not pregnant.
Correct.
Okay, so she basically confronted you and
Yeah,
brought
but
it
she
to your...
wasn't ugly.
I know, she was friendly about it, but she brought it to your attention that she knew.
Yes.
As you just heard, she also claimed that Reagan knew she wasn't pregnant and had asked her why she was telling everyone she was. 3 months later, Bowie County District Attorney confirmed it would seek the death penalty against Taylor. During the trial, it was revealed that Taylor had Googled and carried out in-depth research on how to deliver a baby at 35 weeks preterm, which is exactly how far into her pregnancy Reagan was. On November 9th of 2022, 25 months after the murder, Taylor Parker was found guilty and sentenced to death by unanimous verdict. It took the jury just an hour to reach a decision. She was deemed a danger to society. Reagan's mother called Taylor an evil piece of flesh demon at the pre-sentencing hearing. Investigators testified that prior to the murder, Parker researched and tracked the license plates of pregnant women and scouted clinics where pregnant women might be found. Taylor has since issued 2 appeals on her sentence, most recently to the US Supreme Court, one in 2025 and one in 2026. Both have been rejected.
So as Tom mentioned earlier, in researching this case, I found out there are a couple of other cases that are quite terrifying. Number one, there was one in Colorado where a lady was using Craigslist to advertise baby clothes in an attempt to lure in pregnant mothers and try and do the same thing. This case is called the Dynal Lane case. She's currently in prison, and the one victim that she did try to attack did survive. And then another person stated on Reddit that her own mother, and again this is in Colorado, told her to never post anything about pregnancy or a gender reveal online through fears that people are actively searching for pregnant women to do these types of things too, which is terrifying, absolutely terrifying. So in June of 2026, the case gained global notoriety by being the subject of the Netflix documentary Maternal Instinct. Since being imprisoned, Taylor has come up with several different theories for what happened, or excuses for what happened. She's basically put forward that Reagan had stabbed herself and asked her to take the baby. In another story, Taylor was kidnapped by a gang of career criminals and drug dealers from the quote-unquote Mexican mafia or cartel, where she was then taken to Reagan's home and forced to kill her. It's all quite bizarre. Taylor has also, whilst being in prison, held relationships with a series of other female inmates. She's also requested to have an oxygen tank in her cell because she struggled to breathe. She's also ripped and manipulated her clothing to appear to be, quote unquote, more sexually provocative. Taylor has also offered to help the FBI. She's broken off relationships with female inmates to, quote unquote, look for a sugar daddy outside of the prison. She also manipulated another inmate called Hannah, who had a severe intellectual disability, into giving a statement claiming to be a witness who saw a black man flee the scene in a black car after murdering Reagan. Taylor also claimed to have a Netflix movie deal agreed 2 years before the documentary came out, so that might have been one. Although she probably got no money from this documentary, she might have been approached by Netflix or something. That might have been one lie that had some element of truth to it. So in terms of motive, obviously we've put forward lots of different theories in this episode. According to prison psychiatrists, Taylor has a lifelong fear of losing romantic relationships and also significant abandonment issues. She has a sense of entitlement and genuinely believed that she was a special person. She showed throughout her life a complete lack of empathy towards others, and also had potential personality disorders, including strong antisocial and psychopathic traits. And obviously from a teenager, it is suggested that she was lying pathologically and showed signs of being severely manipulative. It was also revealed that throughout the course of her life, Taylor had used at least 30 different names, aliases, and social media accounts, owned almost a dozen different mobile phones which were all active at the same time, and had access to and regularly used voice-changing technology. She maintained her innocence throughout as well, claiming that the baby was born dead and that Taylor was also already been attacked before she stepped in and arrived at the scene. And she's also then told her officers that different gangs and mafias and cartels were also involved in this case. But overall, it's just it's horribly unfair what happened to Reagan and what Reagan's family now have to live with, and what Wade has to live with. Because he was immediately brought in for questioning by police and initially treated as a suspect, and then when he's informed that a pregnant mother and her unborn child have both been killed, he can't process this. But his first reaction is to say, "I should have listened to my family."
And also, he's in his mind, he had a baby on the way, and he's excited, and then that welcomes crashing down as well. Like, you can think maybe he looked past certain personality traits and thinking maybe she's just acting this way because of hormones and stuff like that. And when the baby's here, things will settle down and we'll have a little family. And then all this happens, and yeah, no, it's a truly, truly heartbreaking case, and one which is very hard to understand, and a really difficult one.
Definitely, but that's episode 1 of the new permanent series done. We'll be back next week and every other week for more episodes.
Yes, it begins, boys. I hope you're feeling good. Again, thanks to everybody who's tuning in. If you missed it at the start or you missed our little announcement video, we are back every Monday for good. Forever. I signed a contract.
You did.
Sorry, boys. But yes, please share us far and wide. Please don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment, and don't be scared to suggest any cases, because please keep them coming because we need them.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. Absolute pleasure to be back. We're very excited, lots to share, and thank you for coming with us on this journey. And until next time, like we always say,
we say this all the time,
keep doing what you're doing.
Jesus. Unless it's telling lies, telling sweet little lies.
Sweet little lies?
No, they weren't really.
No lies. Unless
it's kind of doing ultrasound pranks. Because I don't know. Is it that funny?
Nope.
No.
Not even an atom of funniness in that.
No.
And we should know. We should know we're funny. Guys.
See you, guys.
Bye.
See you a bit.